Coach Prime's close confidant uncovers Kaidon Salter and Julian Lewis relationship and spills Colorado QB truth. The Buffs went as far as Sanders could take them. But for the first time since Deion Sanders set foot in Boulder, that compass is gone. After 2 seasons of riding with his son under center, Coach Prime faces an off-season unlike any other. Shadur is now a Cleveland Brown, taken in the 5th round of the NFL draft after months of speculation and spotlight. And with his departure, Colorado's quarterback room no longer runs through bloodlines. It runs through competition. Real, open, and urgent, the Buffs went as far as Sanders could take them. But for the first time since Deion Sanders set foot in Boulder, that compass is gone. After 2 seasons of riding with his son under center, Coach Prime faces an off-season unlike any other. Shadur is now a Cleveland Brown, taken in the 5th round of the NFL draft after months of speculation and spotlight. And with his departure, Colorado's quarterback room no longer runs through bloodlines. It runs through competition. Real, open, and urgent. One popular narrative spread among the fans is that both QBs have their expertise in different areas. The Carrollton High School product didn't earn a good review as a runner, but his mobility in the pocket and on-point throws have been the highlights. While Salter, the Texas veteran, has been widely known as a running machine with more explosive playmaking power and the ability to take great care of the ball. But here comes a mythbuster. You can think if you wanted that one quarterback means that we're about to do this or the other quarterback. Wrong. They both can run. They both can throw. Uncle Neely, Coach Prime's certified right hand at Colorado, spilled a fact during his candid chat with the DNVR Sports. We don't have a running quarterback and a throwing quarterback. We have 2 quarterbacks who can do it all. That's really an underrated plus for Deion and his squad. Having 2 full-blown multitaskers, one as a backup and another at the steering, provides them with a rare kind of security in the offense. Additionally, another notable aspect of the intangibles is within the Colorado QB room. The air they breathe is extremely warm and cordial. Kaidon Salter and Julian Lewis almost have a brotherly vibe. Kaidon and Lewis bond well with each other. Unlike the tremendous competitive urge outside, they often focus on the team's primitive, holistic growth. While it might seem a little off the board, they unintentionally abide by Deion Sanders' philosophy at Boulder. Since taking over the program in 2023, Coach Prime prioritized character as fiercely as the talent. They're not at each other's throats competing. Uncle Neely said, they hang out together. You know, they're cool. They're kicking it, and you know both of them want the job, but they're not tearing each other down to get it or belittling in the process. Salter is playing the big brother in the room. I mean, with me being an older guy in the room, of course I might speak a lot to Juju, just on the little things. The veteran dismissed the idea of a butt-heading competition and kept the bond, the sportsman's spirit above everything, just like their coach's utopian headspace. However, it stems from a trend he experienced in his career. But it's been all fun. I just remember the time when I was a freshman and I had Malik Willis to mentor me. So, I know what it takes to help mentor and, at the same time, compete and do what I have to do. Salter looked back at his rookie days with the Liberty Flames. He got it, and now, he is here to give it back to his junior. Deion Sanders Jr. drops 4-word quick-fire reaction as Caitlin Clark borrows brother Shadur's $350,000 signature swagger. Caitlin Clark didn't suit up on Saturday, but that didn't stop her from making the boldest move of the day. The Indiana Fever star, still rehabbing a quad injury, walked into Wintrust Arena versus Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky like it was her house. No jersey, just vibes, and a now iconic wrist raise that had everybody talking. Full Sanders style, Clark hit the watch flex, a swagger move cooked up by Shadur himself during his most disrespectful, ice-cold moments at Colorado. Back in 2023, after Nebraska players stepped on the Buffs logo, Shadur answered by torching them on the field, then jogging over and raising his wrist to the crowd like, "Check the time, losers." That move turned into a full-blown phenomenon to Shadur's go-to-piece. A $70,000 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15500, flooded with 30 carats of VVS diamonds. But it wasn't just jewelry, it was a message. Control, confidence, dominance. Everybody from Devontae Adams to DJ Khaled started hitting the celly. Even Travis Hunter called it a hate flex. Fast forward to June 7th, and Caitlin Clark had time today. No, really. She had the time. While sidelined with injury, the Fever superstar strolled into the arena with the same attitude and possibly the same watch. Cameras caught her throwing up Shedur's signature celly like she owned it. Whole place lit up. Deion Sanders Jr. Akabucky couldn't let it slide. He jumped on IG, reposted the footage on OFF Media, and gave his forward verdict. It's a beautiful thing. And honestly, he's not wrong. Clark averaged 19 points, 9 assists, and 6 boards before her injury, and she's bulked up too. Fans going wild over her jacked arms online. Between the trolling, the fits, and the viral sellies, she's letting the league know, play or not, she's got that dog in her. Shadur Sanders' ex-QB teammate who accused him of nepotism hints at football return amid $2.8 billion news. The 2024 transfer season gifted Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes a dramatic episode. While ex-Buffs player Cormani McClain dragged Coach Prime through the mud after entering the transfer portal and saying he'd want to have a real play instead of play for clicks, Shadur Sanders, too, was not spared. No, McClain didn't have any issue with the boy. It was someone else. But what made the player be so sour about Shadur? His millionaire lifestyle, nepotism, plain and simple. The attack had touched Shadur so deeply that it left him with a sharp warning. I'll spare you only this one time. And look how the tables turned. The player himself is now considering a flip back to college. The reason? The same thing he bashed Shadur for. A hefty $2.8 billion waves at him. Now, who is this player who is one step away from making a comeback? That's none other than the Buffs' former quarterback Gavin Kuld. After spending one season in Deion's Boulder, the walk-on quarterback announced to hit the transfer portal back in May. The native of Spencer, Colorado, marked Kuld's fourth program at the college level. Before joining Coach Prime's squad, he had spent time at Monterey Peninsula College, Trinity Valley Community College, and Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College. In his lone season at Colorado, Kuld appeared in 2 games. In the Buffs' blowout loss to Washington State, the 6'6", 215-pound junior completed 1 pass for 22 yards and threw an interception. Unfortunately, the offer from his 5th program never came. But Kuld dropped a teaser. Looks like I'm going back. On June 7th, he reshared an ESPN post on his Instagram story with this caption. The ESPN post read, Judge grants final approval to House v. NCAA settlement. It further elaborated, schools are now free to begin paying their athletes directly, marking the dawn of a new era in college sports brought about by a multi-billion-dollar legal settlement that was formally approved Friday. The House settlement will pay thousands of former athletes, playing from 2016 to 2024, a whopping $2.8 billion in back pay from lost NL. This is the first time that schools will directly compensate athletes in a system that features an annual cap and a new enforcement entity. Now, isn't it a good enough reason to spark the fire all over again in Kuld's heart? Over this past year, the quarterback has been out of the sport. However, that did not stop Kuld from living his life the big way. He went out on hikes, climbing adventures, and for that adrenaline boost, had a gala time skiing. Now that he is willing to put the wanderer inside him to rest and craves for running the pigskin on the gridiron, there is only one reason behind this wish. Surprisingly, it's the same reason he once gave Shadur a hard time for. Money. Let's take a trip down memory lane. The timeline of the Gavin Kuld-Shadur Sanders drama. It all started in May last year. As Kuld jumped out of the Buffs wagon, he sat for an interview with Magdog TV. During the interview, he revealed how he received outsider treatment from Shadur. The second I came in, he told the coaching staff that I would never have a chance to be the backup quarterback and he could never coach me. I sat to try to talk to the 4 quarterbacks of spring. What you doing? What you reading? You should read this. He was completely mute to me, Kuld said. That's when a clash of egos entered the narrative. Things turned bitter when the host came up with a general question for the quarterback, asking his opinion on how much NIL has changed college football. That came off as a golden opportunity for Kuld to dish out a brutal jab for Shadur. He said, look at Arizona. Look at Noah Fifita. He did with all his money. Look at Colorado. This guy has got 6 cars and an apartment. Even though he did not use it, Nepo baby is the word that he felt suited the best for Deion's son. All this immediately led up to a tweet war between the two. Shadur was in no mood to digest all this criticism. Mentioning Gavin Kuld in his tweet, the then Buffs quarterback came up with a stern warning. I learned sometimes you have to take the high road. At G Kuld, I'll spare you only this one time. However, Kuld then tried to act smart and pretended that he should not be the one to be called out. He tweeted with a plea, "Bro at Sanders, what high road? What are you talking about, spare me lol." Kuld's nil-fueled return is looming, and somewhere, Shadur's already got the fiery post drafted, thumb locked and loaded, just waiting to light up the timeline when the comeback's official.